This is what a gust front looks like. Just got hit by like about 100-mile-an-hour gust front. I didn't get my phone out in time. It's actually calmed down a little bit. Crazy. That was not a gust front. That was a tornado. This absolutely was a tornado that hit us.
I don't think that was a tornado.
No, that was a tornado. Look, see how it's dropping?
Yeah, but I think it's coming.
They need to have the sirens going off.
I know. See that? That's
Yeah, it's starting to come down.
I'm like,
look at it. That tendril will make its way back over to where we are, or close to where we are.
Look at a tip is going. Look
Yeah.
at
Oh, look at that tip.
It's like
No, I think it's gonna come
Look.
down.
He's
Watch it.
working on the car for just a second. He's coming back.
Oh my gosh, you can see it spinning.
Why are the
on the
tornado sirens not going off?
I need to be going off.
Well, someone called 911.
Yeah, call 911.
I stopped recording to call 911. They didn't believe me. I should have just kept recording.
So I'm back at one of my favorite places to fly, which is the Canadian River area. It's, I believe it's managed by the Bureau of Land Management. It's one of the few areas in Texas that is. It's very PPG friendly. I've had game wardens stop me, and all they've asked for is that I have an OTV sticker to go off-road, and I do. And they think that the paragliding's cool, so it's pretty awesome to have such an interesting place to zoom around in and be able to take off only 19 miles north of Amarillo. I've had some fun adventures out here. I've had some crashes in the river from foot dragging. Once I lost my cell phone on top of a mesa and had to land on the mesa and get it. Hopefully today won't be too terribly adventurous in that regard. The sun's already up. There were some anvil thunderstorms out very early this morning, so I couldn't get out at the crack of dawn, and I knew I wouldn't want to. The wind was high this morning, but this is one of those strange days where the wind's supposed to go down through the day instead of pretty bumpy roads. The wind's supposed to go down through the day instead of up, but it will be very thermic. It's supposed to be, I think by 9 o'clock this morning, it's going to be 85 degrees. It was 114 degrees yesterday. I haven't looked and seen what the high today is, but I don't think it's supposed to be far off of that, but we did get thunderstorms last night, so it's going to add a little bit of humidity to the air, which may keep the temperature down a little bit. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. I kind of wish that this little mesa over to the right was public, because I've always thought that would be a really nice little rock outcropping to do some ridge soaring on a day where it's not too thermic. Wind is actually a little shifty, and I think it's supposed to level out in direction, but man, when you've got storms coming through in the morning, it's just hoses up all the forecasts. Let's do a little hand kiting if we can. See what it looks like. Feels pretty good. Not bad. Definitely gonna be a reverse launch. Yep. Some sticks here, but this is kind of a nice little open prairie. I think this is kind of a overflow campground. I did not actually bring a windsock. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. Cross country style. Doing the pre-flight on my risers. Glad I did. I actually didn't have my left riser actually all the way clipped in. Man, that could have been deadly. Wait for it to kick up a little bit. All right, there it goes. Oh. Yeah, that's okay. You get that with shifty winds. See if I can lay it back out here. Or, just bring it up.
So somehow my helmet camera got switched out of wide angle mode and it's in just 1080p standard mode. So it's a little bit zoomed in and kind of shaky. Fire the camera guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the shear of about 500 to 800 feet that Ryan Carlton said I'd get. Those flights, and I'm taking it because I can, even though it's not pretty air. I have actually made quite a few free flight, just sled rides off of this little spot right down here. This is Widowmaker, and it's called Widowmaker because people like to take their ATV toys up it and flip over on their tops, and it either kills the occupants or kills the vehicle. People try and go up that sheer face of the mesa right there. You can see tracks. There's people that do make it. I think mostly motorcycles. But it's brutal. That mesa cliff, that small mesa cliff on that, it's just brutal to get up on a vehicle. Hello, Thermal, my old friend. I see you've come to lift me again. So this Sky Flux, I believe, does a really good job in turbulent air. But it does not do a great job in turbulent air with the trims out. It's a collapsing son of a gun with the trims out. So, yeah. Then the instructions and documentation and stuff with the wing says that. It says don't fly with your trims out in turbulence. A couple of us have done it. Bad stuff has happened. It is not a reflex wing. Ergo, trims out, it's more susceptible to collapse. Knew I was going to get dumped there. Premonition. All right, I think I'm going to come in for a landing. I think I've got my Sky Fix out today. Woo! Getting dropped. Probably hit the other side of this thermal. It'll pick me up. Or not. There it is. Now it's lifting me. Oh, you're just riding waves in the sky. I'm gonna get my damn wing up off the ground pretty quick. There are so many grasshoppers. It's not even funny out here. Biting flies too, but biting flies don't eat your wing that I know of. Damn grasshoppers, if they get in it, they will eat their way out. I'm not interested in them. Yeah, you can see them jumping around. Get my wing off the ground. Look at them. Jeez. Place is infested. See how hot my... Yeah, Jeep's not hot. Set that up here to keep the critters out of it.
It's nothing I actually want to do. I really do not like setting my wing up on the vehicle, but it's not hot right now. It's dirty. I'd rather have my wing dirty than full of holes. Woo! It's a thermic son of a gun. And I knew it would be. I knew I had a short window to fly this morning between the thunderstorms, that really high level, or not high level, but that, I guess it was about 1,300 feet. There was a 40-mile-an-hour wind shear, and then that fell off, and then the thermals were going to kick up pretty good. So that was my window. I had about a 30-minute flight this morning. It was pretty fun. Definitely got picked up a few times, even on landing. Even if I'd have gotten dumped at the end of that thermal, I was managing my height just perfect, so it would have just dumped me like, you know, a foot or two. But I definitely had the push down before I got into that thermal that I had to use the motor to keep in the air over. Man, guys, I'm fat. I've got to go on a diet, or I'm going to have to revise my takeoff weight on cross countries to be 340 pounds. And I tell you, really at 330 pounds, if you're at altitude, you're kind of stretching it. Because the problem is, whereas here, when I catch a thermal, I can use the motor to keep myself from getting pounded into the ground. But at a higher altitude, say I'm at 3,500 feet, let's say I'm at 7,000 feet, that motor's not going to have enough oomph to keep me from hitting the ground. And that's the problem I had when I was in Santa Fe last time. It was too heavy. And I don't have a problem, even in nil wind, taking off and launching or flying or landing. It's when things get a little dicey that extra wing size really can help out. There we go. It'll ride.
I did want to fly this morning, but it wasn't the only reason I kind of came out this direction. I'm also going to go see, I've been doing some scouting, and I think I found a pretty good launch location for a few different directions of wind. Now I'm going to drive over there and do a little scouting. The problem with a lot of public lands in general is that they're pretty inaccessible if you're not willing to hike half a day, or even more than half a day. And this whole side of this national park is pretty much locked off unless you get permission from the rancher that have access to the lease roads to allow you on. I prefer to do things on the up and up if at all possible. Actually, there's just no good reason that I can think to trespass on someone's land. Entertainment is not a good reason to trespass. If I have a motor out and I land on someone's land, that's a good reason to trespass. If I just want to go fart around and have fun on someone else's, with what someone else owns, that's not a good reason. But I think I found a place that may be accessible via public road, via an old dried out boat dock from back when the lake came up to that area. I'm gonna run down there to that boat dock, see if that area is open, and see what I can find as far as locations that might be good for a future free flight. Right there, this is the perfect basin. Oh, and there's the enemy right there. So my whole life, I grew up people saying that there just wasn't anything to do here. It's boring and it's ugly. But you know, if you blink, you'll miss it. There's beauty hidden around every turn, right? So this is the area I wanted to check out. This is the Meredith area around Plum Creek. Man, it looks like there's some really cool training hill areas here. That little hill right there looks awesome for a training hill. Nice and mesas to climb out there. Looks like that there are some free flight opportunities in Middle Plum Creek. So definitely expected to see a lot of this today. Blocked lease roads. That's okay. I think there's plenty of opportunities without any trespassing, so we're back out here. So I made it to the old boat ramp, and you can see this used to actually go into the lake before all this kind of turned into a grassy desert. New Mexico started holding more water, and it drained our lake. There's a nice sized mesa out there in the middle of this though, man. That one would be the bee's knees. I think that bad boy right there is gonna be probably my best candidate if the wind is out of or southeast. You know, as long as I'm here though, I think I'm gonna stop and smell the roses because I saw something down here, something special. Plums! Looks like the deer or people have been at them pretty good. Plums, plums. It's almost purple. You gotta stop for a snack, right? I have to bring my girls down here. They love picking wild fruit. Come down here to find paragliding spots and get a daily recommended dose of vitamin C. So some of you folks that live in areas where the grass grows and you don't water it, and I don't mean buffalo grass, which is what this is. This is about as good of a training hill as I think you're likely to find. I'm already seeing that there's some signs of prairie dogs, but I'll bet up on this hill they're not too bad. I'm gonna climb up a little ways and take a look. Look at this big, beautiful piece of flint. It's huge. It's pretty. Gleaming in the sun. Lots of sparkles. This area is very rich in flint. That's why this is a very popular area for Native Americans, and there's some culturally sensitive locations you can stumble upon out here. We're not looking to upset any of that. Yeah, I like this. Hey, we're beggars here for Kiteable Hills, and I can almost guarantee you that right now, if I laid my wing up here, I'd have just enough room to have my wing up here, and I could come right up to this edge, into the wind. Have a little bit of wind right now, but I could definitely launch off of this. Man, what a beautiful little area this is. I like this hill right here too. Oh, that one right there. I like that hill too. It's just got a lot more boulders to it. This one's nice because it doesn't have so many boulders. That's the tough part, right? Is you find these mesas and they're ground down, but the softer soil has been taken down to where it's all just cliffs and boulders. But all in all, I like this hill. I think I'm gonna mark this one as kind of one of my go-tos out here. Just better make sure you're ready to go whenever you hit the edge. Some of this is real steep, real quick. Yeah, that's about a 15-20 foot drop off of this edge. And then there's a little place down here. I like that it's kind of barren up here. It's real rocky, except for a few tufts of grass. You could lay your wing out and take really small bunny hops here. Wow, this rock field is just plumb full of flint. I'd say every third rock is flint. No wonder the Native Americans really loved this area for finding flint and mining flint to build their arrowheads with. Wow. Love it. You know, coming out of here, it looks like if I had a decent southerly wind, I could just about launch on the road. I'm gonna
walk up on a mesa over here and check out one of the mesas that could be a southerly launch location. You definitely want decent boots. You're constantly going to be walking through cactus and through yucca. Some snake gators isn't a bad idea. There's tons of rattlesnakes out here as well. Welcome to Texas, baby. Just about everything in the wild landscape has some way of defending itself. It does make walking a bit of a chore. Everything's got some sort of bramble or pokey bit on it. Unless it's a pear. I guess they actually have thorns too, but they're not too bad. Maybe you're just wanting those sweet pears like Yogi the bear, so you're willing to put up with the fact that they scratch you up a little bit. One of the big issues with launching off of this kind of terrain is not even the fact that it's easy to twist your ankle if you don't watch yourself. It's that the natural vegetation is just full of those thorns and brambles and you name it, and cactus and even the rocks, you know, are very sharp. You almost have to bring out a ground covering, otherwise your lines just get abused, and your paraglider gets abused. I have torn a paraglider on stuff just like this, and it's no fun getting tears in your gear just from terrible terrain. Ooh, just had a rock break underneath me. Definitely got to be careful hiking on this stuff. Hiking is dangerous. Of course, one way to avoid the stuff up here is to just launch off the face. Climb down, bring your wing up while you're standing on the face of this, and then just launch from the face. And that's probably what I would end up doing. That, and you won't get the weird, you know, this little 3-foot flat surface here is going to take that wind and put a little bit of a curl on it right at the end. Whereas if you get out on the flats, you're just going to have that wind coming straight up, getting into the compression. What I'd probably end up doing here is there's a place down there I can park. There's a little pull-off spot, and I would probably come just down this valley right here and then come up rather than trying to just walk on the flats from over here. I'd probably be willing to climb up it, just because then when I get the right wind and compression that I want, I can turn and launch in that. So I get a little bit more of a gauge on what I'm doing. So that's it. Gonna head home. If you're interested in this kind of scouting thing that I'm doing, I do this more often than I'd like to admit. And it's generally not as fruitful as today. But if you'd like to see this kind of content more than just buzzing around in the air. Holy crap. Ow, ow, ow. That shrub got me good. I'm not watching where I'm going quite good enough since I was videoing, but if you're wanting to see, I'm gonna watch where I'm going. I'm not gonna talk to the camera. You wanna see this kind of content more, maybe throw me a like and subscribe and comment that you liked it. And if you don't, comment that you don't like it, and I'll stop putting this stuff up. I'm low-key starting to hate video editing anyways, and so I just sit on this stuff for a long time usually and end up just deleting it. But I don't know, I thought this would be a nice change of pace versus just your typical fly around and crash into rivers content. That seems to be the content that people like the most, is watching me put my face into the dirt. And I see why. Y'all have a good day. Let me know what you're up to. Stay safe. It's a time of year where things start turning more violent in the sky, and there's always more time to fly. Don't rush it. There's no benefit. There's always tomorrow. Peace out.